So, lads, this is the most obvious thing ever. The most obvious things ever. And the reality is that players never wanted to strike. They voted 97%. The reason why they voted for a strike was so that they could show they were united. The players don't want to strike. The majority don't want to strike under any circumstances. Do you want to know why? Because there's a solid 30 to 40% of the league who, if they strike, will be retiring. And that is a number that's not crazy. That's not a crazy number to say 30 to 40% of the league, because I don't think people realize that the reason why these players were going overseas was that the WNBA didn't pay them enough to live off. Let's just say they were making 70k in the WNBA. They go overseas and they're making 50k. Now that's 120k. That's enough to live off, especially because when you go overseas and the W, they cover all your living expenses, they cover your housing. So that is enough to live off. And that is if you're a low level player. And the thing is that 50k is, I'm not going to say 50k is on the upper end for players overseas, but it depends on who you're playing for. Like, I don't personally think that KK Timpson made 50k to play for her team. Like, I know the going rate for pros in Ireland. Like, the going rate for pros in Ireland sometimes is accommodation. We will pay your rent. That is the going rate for pros in Ireland. And there have been players that have come over in the WNBA offseason and played in Ireland. And again, I think there might have been short-term things on like, we'll give you $1,000 a month on your rent, and they're stuck, so they do it. But that's kind of the going rate. That is the going rate. So it's one of those things that people don't realize these players aren't making millions. And you can see this here, WNBA players divided. And by the way, this is an article from Annie Costable, and I'm going to skim read through this. I will leave a link to this article in the description. Go read the full thing. Annie Costable is one of them goats. So go read the full thing. If I have forgot to put a link, please somebody link it in the comment section. I am not doing it maliciously. Please go read this whole thing. And if I forgot it, you guys can type in this title into Google. And we're not going to be reacting to the whole thing, just some parts of it. So, it says here, one source familiar said more than half the player leadership reaffirmed their commitment to striking if necessary. Half the player leadership. Half the player leadership. So, basically, four of them are willing to strike. It says half the player leadership, which I'm guessing is 4. But like, half the players said they want to strike. That is crazy. It says here as well, players have changed their minds since. And this is the biggest thing at the end. This is the biggest thing at the end here. Where is it about agents? It says here, additionally, Jackson made clear the CBA would not become final without the vote of the members. As is the case for the previous CBA, the union would need the majority of members who vote in agreement in order to reach a deal. There's something about the agents. I'm skipping through this. It says here, after Tuesday's meeting, a group of more than 10 agents representing players of various standings sent their own letters to union leadership offering to help in whatever way might be necessary to get a deal done. 10 agents representing players. Like, I don't think people realize that most of these agents have 3, 4, 5, 6 players. That could be 30, 40% of the league. Their agents are like, dude, we'll figure something out. You better fucking play. Like, I don't think people realize that, yes, the Tash Clouds of the world, Tash Cloud is probably, like, Tash Cloud literally, she wants to play for a team who say they don't want her. She's talked about going back to New York. The Liberty have said they don't want her. They've literally said we are still trying to find the proper or the best backcourt partner for Sabrina Ionescu. They don't want her. They don't want her. Like, genuinely, like, it is, like, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, yeah, cool. If you want to speak for the players, you can boycott. If there's a league there, you can boycott. You can absolutely boycott. Like, it is what it is. You can boycott. If any of these players are against the league, they can absolutely boycott. If they want to complain about any single thing, you don't have to play. That's the funniest thing, is that you don't have to play. Where it's clear, players are all changing their minds. There's a panic station of probably more than 50% of players in fucking panic mode now. Because it's no longer about, okay, yeah, we have to, show solidarity. It is, holy shit, we're fucked. And like, again, I always use this as an example player. Not that she might be the most pro-union person ever. It is just my example player is a Grace Van Slooten. Starter for Team USA in America Cup. Is going to be a second round pick. She is going to walk into the WNBA, make a team, and play 10 years in the WNBA. She is realistically going to make millions of dollars and set herself up for life if this league happens. If the league doesn't happen, not a flashy enough name for Unrivaled. There's only a finite amount of spots in AU. There are all these players coming out of college. And you can't forget, there's all these players coming out of college now. There's 20, 30 of them. There's only a finite amount of spots in AU. Players overseas might make 20K. And they're not, like, how many people, especially these players, all have degrees? Like, it's a lot more common in the male side and the women's side that people just play for shitty salaries to keep their hoop dreams alive. You are going to see, not specifically her, but you are going to see players that would have 10-year-long WNBA careers working a 9-to-5 in 3 months. Like, you're going to be seeing people doing grad programs, working as grad assistants. These are potential pro basketball players. The future of women's pro basketball is done. There's only a finite amount of spots in these leagues. Like, I don't think people realize this. How Unrivaled can't expand. Unrivaled cannot hit the expansion. If Unrivaled takes all the players, as in like the Olivia Miles, the Hannah Hidalgos, everyone that they have hyped up, AZ Foot, last year in the Future is Unrivaled campaign, if they bring in every single one of those players, that's their spots done. There's no other league, so players aren't going to retire from Unrivaled. And they all have equity. They're not going to kick players out of Unrivaled. It's over. Like, it's going to be, Unrivaled is going to be a closed shop. AU pays 20K. These overseas teams pay nothing. Malonga was the most hyped European prospect ever. I don't think people realize Malonga's contract that she ripped up was 3 years, 90K a year. 90K a year. 90K a year. Like, she was the most hyped ever. If Malonga's making that, you better believe these short-term contract players are not making that. They're making 70, 80, 90% of their money in the WNBA. Some, not now, but they will be with this new CBA. Some of them might be making 90% of their yearly money with the WNBA. Anyone who's making 400 or 500K, maybe they just say, fuck it. We're just not going to go play overseas. We're going to take the extra marketing money that the WNBA give the players for not playing overseas. And, like, there is money to be given out. Like, players are able to take money for that. And, yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Like, this is a huge thing. And it's so funny, the amount of people are like, the player's going to fold. There's no folding. There's literally no folding. They have they fucking 6x their salaries. There's no folding. They 5x their salaries and they're probably going to 6x their salaries. There's no such thing as folding when you have a 500% raise. There's no such thing as folding. When you've doubled and tripled your salary, even for the mid-tier players, there's no such thing as folding. Talk is cheap and sells decision time costing you money. Yeah, duh. No shit. No shit the players didn't want to strike. No shit. Anyone who actually believed that the players wanted to strike, and it wasn't just, oh, let's stick together in solidarity. Anyone who believed that, I have some magic fucking beans to sell you. I have some fucking penny stocks to sell you. I might have a hashtag MickTalksHoops coin to sell you guys. Because you're suckers. They're fucked. Like, you don't understand how many players are fucked if there's no season. Because if we're being real, there's no strike and don't play scenario that ends up with the players getting paid more in the WNBA. The only outcome is the league folding. And you know what any startup league is going to do? They're not going to pay the lower tier players. They're not going to pay the rank and file players. They're going to pay the stars to play in this league, and then whoever will play for pennies. That's what it's going to happen. Any startup leagues are going to be ran like that because they're not dumb. They realize they're not going to have a CBA. They're not going to be ran like an American sports league. They realize Caitlin might be worth 10 million. Nobody else is worth that. So we're paying Caitlin 10. Angel might be worth 600K. We'll pay her that. We'll pay these players that. And the rest of you, if we throw 20k out there, we'll get enough bullshit players to take that 20k, and then you can go and watch the Stars absolutely dick on everybody because outside the Stars, the rest of the players suck, like the Saudi Pro League. That's the way it's gonna go. That's the way all these fucking investor leagues go. Are people that dumb? Are players that dumb? I think the answer might be yes. I think the answer to are players that dumb might be yes, because there's no scenario where canceling the season leads to a positive outcome. Short term. Long term, maybe. It is the craziest bet on yourself gamble I've ever seen, because it is a percentage of players. It is not betting on yourself. It's betting on the entire future of the sport, because there is a much greater chance that women's basketball goes it becomes what it was pre-1996, or not even 96, in the fucking Cheryl Miller era, where you played in college and then you're done. It's over after college. Like, there is a greater chance of it being over after college than these 17 different startup leagues competing against each other, growing the sport when all the best players aren't congregated in one. There is a greater chance of women's basketball ending after college and them destroying the entirety of women's professional basketball long term than there is of it booming. There's a chance it works out. But it's slim. This would be the craziest bet on yourself. And you know what? If they do bet on themselves and something grows bigger in the WNBA and the players get paid as a whole more, and I'm only judging it by the minimum contract, that's what I'm judging it by, not by the max contracts, because the max players are getting paid more in Project B. Caitlin Clark will get paid 10 million wherever the fuck she wants to play. That's all I'm judging it by. If that happens, and there's some league that employs 200 people, where there's a minimum salary of 200k, and it lasts more than 10 years, I will literally make an apology video. I will go out of my way to apologize. I will apologize. I will buy every single Natasha Cloud jersey she's ever had. I will be on my knees apologizing to Natasha Cloud if that happens, because fair fucks to them. But it is the craziest bet on yourself move ever. And it is the biggest risk ever on a bet on yourself move if they strike.